Well, the racetrack near Atlanta, Georgia was long time the fastest racetrack in motorsports here in North America. That wasn't Talladega or Daytona, but with the repave, no one really knew how it would race when we detune the cars and make them go pack racing. This week, we've already seen it happen twice with the Cup Series and the Truck Series. Great finishes in both, but one race left this week. It's the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series, round number 4 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome back to Georgia. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Finian DeCuna joining me tonight for this 4th round of the season. Finian, on Monday, it was Connor Horn winning at the stripe. And on Tuesday, it was Brad Slaughter Jr. by a mere 3/1000ths of a second. Won that race in a photo finish. What are we up for tonight?
I'm hoping for more of the same. We've been looking to be blessed with some great finishes the last 2 nights that we've been here this week. Hoping to see that night number 3 is going to also be as good of a finish, if not even better, between these drivers. Because again, we got another full field of drivers all ready to have a shot at this race, and I'm sure they can't wait to get going and try to see if they have a chance of winning.
Indeed, that will be the case tonight, as we saw Tuesday night. An unbelievable photo finish coming to the line between 2 Georgia natives, might I add. Mason Kane, so close to getting that first win in any area series, whether that be Cup or the Pro Series or the Truck Series. He's getting close, and I feel like tonight it could be a night where Mason Kane gets that ship righted in the right direction. As we look at the playoff standings, Skyley with 2 wins on the season, Richard Thomas with that win in Daytona, locking him into postseason, as Connor Yurashak leads the regular season standings and highest in standings without a win for the playoff picture. Then you got Nichols, Shane Tyrion, Bell, Bowie, Mitchell, Beckner, Hearn, and then Ed Robertson along with John Furness holding that last playoff spot.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season so far. Skyley and Thomas with those wins locking them in so far. Connor Yurashak right there in third as we head into the night. But 130 laps here. Finian, on Monday night, we had a couple big wrecks. On Tuesday night, we had a couple big wrecks. A lot more green flag running, though, on Tuesday. This car, this Area Florida State Builders Pro Series car, is different than both of them. Higher horsepower than or equal horsepower to the Cup cars, and maybe some more downforce, or less downforce rather than the trucks. Different racing, though, that we typically see, and a full field 44 here tonight. Someone's going home.
Yeah, again, with the slight change with these cars, I'm curious to see, especially with some less downforce, we might have a chance of more wrecks occurring with this series. We'll have to see those 6 cautions slowing the pace last season. We'll see what this one has in store as we tick over into qualifying, and drivers are going to get onto the track. We'll find out who's going to be that one driver going home.
Yeah, unfortunately, one driver does have to go home, but at the end of the day, they're risking whether they want to be involved in this carnage or not, because Kyle, it's bound to happen at some point. Like you said, we saw big wrecks Monday night, Tuesday night, although it could be different for the Pro Series cars, but nonetheless, we'll see how that goes with Jeremy Miller coming on the track.
And one of the first drivers out there, as you mentioned, a couple big wrecks, almost inevitable with the pack racing style that you see here now. And what I alluded to in the intro is that this racetrack was really fast before it was reconfigured. It's not that it's any slower now. Obviously the cars have been slowed down a little bit, but the lap times and the corner speeds are still really, really high. So managing that without gaps between the cars is still a challenge. The other thing we noted is that we actually saw some fall off and some handling fall off and tire fall off both on Monday and Tuesday specifically. So a lot of sliding around in the trucks. I imagine we'll see something similar to that in the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series cars here this evening. Not sure who our favorites are. This has kind of been a revolving door of drivers that are good at the plate. I hesitate to say plate racing. Good at the pack racing, and those that are good at 1.5 milers. It's kind of a mix of both.
Yeah, that's kind of what's interesting about this repave, because it is a little bit of both worlds. It's not exactly like a proper plate track, what we're used to with Daytona and Talladega for the last, however many decades we've been going there. Atlanta's a little bit newer. It's got tight corners. They haven't changed, the dimensions of the track, really just the banking and obviously the new asphalt that's on it as well. They widened parts of it, but it's still on the same part of track that has been. So it's a tighter turnaround than, again, what we're used to at Daytona and Talladega being, 2.5 miles. This is still only 1.5 miles, and that means we only have 1 lap of qualifying for these drivers. See Connor Yurashak come across the line for him in the number 12 up to provisional pole position just over Justin Munsell. And like we've seen the last couple days, guys, qualifying is going to be extremely close.
Indeed, as Connor Yurashak sits atop the standings, guys, he hasn't qualified outside the top 3 all season long. He got a pole at Las Vegas qualified second at Daytona and last week was third at Kentucky. So we'll see if the 12's lap time will stand inside the top 3 for another week.
There's Clayton Montgomery, the number 45, up to 8th place. JT Poole is just getting on track. Cameron Hearn working his way through 3 and 4 right now in the number 4 Ford Mustang. And track temp heading into qualifying was a scorching 132 degrees. I think we'll see that drop a bit as we saw on Tuesday in the Truck Series race. It was over 120 in qualifying. It was below 100 by the end of the race. Hearn up to 6th place there on his qualifying lap.
Ooh, and all the way up against the wall as well. I think that's after the fact, though, so no problem for him. Number 62, Alex Weaver, coming across the line, and that will put him up to 6th place with a 32.581, just a couple, almost a tenth off of the leader.
Yeah, one of the things we're gonna have to keep an eye on for tonight is the racing on the front stretch. I know we got to keep an eye on it all the way around because it's pack racing, but Monday night, Colin, some of these drivers made moves to the outside. They'd get a little impatient, make their move to the outside, and they'd actually clip the wall going into turn 1. So we might have to keep an eye on that because it could happen again tonight for the Pro Series. And not to mention, the way that the walls are at the Quad Oval, so we see JT Poole there, they actually extended some of that walls just so it's not as abrupt an impact when they're right on the corner. So that wall is kind of pushed out a little bit as we see the flamboyant, I shouldn't say flamboyant, but the great mask of JT Poole matching the car color as he changed his car number to the red chrome that we see.
It's like he's attending the Great Gatsby's parties or something. That mask. Wow. What a oh man. Anyway, the rest of the field works their way through qualifying. Here's Ryan Swan starting his lap. About half the field has put down a time. We are going to have 3 now DNQs, so 3 drivers that will not make the field here tonight. And here's Swan in the number 54 HyperX Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, keeping it nice and tight in 1 and 2 as he's going his way around. And again, for these drivers, it's going to be full throttle around here, which is why we're seeing the times being relatively close amongst these drivers and across the line. For him, 32.610, not as quick as he would like down the order for him. Jake Nichols, though, a lot higher up the order as he came across the line, up to 5th.
Here's our old friend Alan Elwood, first Pro Series full season since Season 3. Took Season 4 off to take care of his firstborn child and raced Tuesday nights in the Truck Series, but decided to commit back to the Pro Series. Always good to see Elwood running in this series. The Ohio native. We'll see what his lap time is.
I love the commitment to the thing that you've done on the weeknights for a long time. Elwood steps away for a couple races for the newborn child, and then right back into it a couple months later. I love it. And Elwood, 11th place on the board on his qualifying lap. Delonte Ballard is on course right now, and a couple of others are just gearing up for their fast lap. The 21 is headed on the backstretch on his timed lap.
Yeah, other notables too. Eric Wineland up to 8th place in the number 66 machine, so that should be enough to put him good on through one of those open cars. Currently, one of the ones on at risk is 54 Ryan Swan. He didn't really get as quick a lap as he would like. He's close to the cutoff. Delonte Ballard in the 21, he comes flying across the line. 32.623 should have put him only 29th.
Yeah, still some drivers yet to go out. Eugenio Alonso, I believe, is out. Slaughter as well. Senesac also. It looks like Sean Peachin made an attempt at a lap, but I'm not sure if that's gone up yet. Same with Tyrion and Ben Pierce.
Sean Peachin has not yet completed his lap. Here he comes out of turn 4. Another Illinois native, just like, well, I'm not a native, but I've lived here now for 4 years or so. Peachin across the stripe, only 32nd quick. Brad Slaughter still just warming up for his quick lap. Here's Eugenio Alonso working his way through 3 and 4. John Furness went 25th quick in the number 28 car. Alonso at a 167.484. That's good enough for top 20.
Yeah, we'll just get him inside that top 20. Brad Slaughter working his way around will come out of turn 4 to start a lap. Looking at Mason Kane in the 31 on the back straightaway halfway through his lap. Trying to see what his 31 ends up at. We've seen him be pretty quick this season so far. And we'll see if that 31 can get up there near the top, considering how close it is.
Oh, that's going to be a good lap. 32.540. That'll put him 9th.
All lap for him. Now here comes Brad Slaughter now through out of turn 4 and just almost cutting the grass through the triangle.
Quicker, 32.529.
Wow,
5th
top
quick.
5.
Yeah, strong lap there.
And it looks like we've got the last few stragglers getting out on track with a little over 2 minutes remaining. Greg Mitchell, Jeffrey Wilson out there to take their laps.
Yeah, so Bryce Senesac, Ryan Hartz, Matthew Bell have not yet gone on the racetrack. As I say that, Senesac just began his out lap. Here's Mitchell across the stripe, and he's starting a lap. Yes. In the number 2.
Off and away for him, nice and tight on the bottom. And for Greg Mitchell, doesn't really have to worry about a whole lot. I mean, you ideally want maybe a better starting position, but he's in the show. Jeffrey Wilson is the last open car that will be putting a time down, so we'll get a good chance to see who'll be going away once he comes across the line. But for Mitchell, first he'll come to the line ahead, and for him, 32.5. That's a decent time. Up into 15th for him. Jeffrey Wilson, oof, only 37th.
Still a few cars left to go out and put out a lap. Senesac, I believe, is going to be the last one to do so. I'm looking through. Bronson Stafford, 4th place. Good run for him. His best qualifying effort of the season was, oddly enough, back at Daytona with an 8th place starting effort. So besting that by half the margin. We'll see if Stafford can get off on the right track. Best finish of the season, 13th at Las Vegas.
Yeah, so the DNQ is already known. It's the 56 of A.J. Roderick. He will not make the field tonight. Neither will the 42 of Brody Falliker. And then the 85 of Jeffrey Wilson is also not going to qualify with that 37th place run. Here's Bryce Senesac, last driver to go. Locked in the show. Just needs to put in a time, representative time, to put him up on top of the order here. Still is strange seeing Bryce in a Toyota this season after watching him run Chevy equipment for so long.
Well, I would say it's definitely looking good, especially because we definitely have quite a few Chevys across all 3 series. Can use some more of the other 2 manufacturers. We'll see how fast this Toyota is, though, across the line for him. 32.559, decent time, put him up in 12th.
Yeah, Senesac's had a couple of top 10s in the Cup Series this season and finds himself 14th in the Pro Series standings. Average finish of 18th on the season, looking to continue that strong effort at possibly making a run for the playoffs.
Before we get into qualifying here, race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area before we get into the qualifying, before we get into the race, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. Wanted to touch on a couple things from the last race that we did here last season. Race took about 1 hour and 25 minutes to complete. We had 6 yellows for 18 laps, but this is the stat that I'm looking at, Finian. It is 9 leaders, 34 lead changes. It was incredibly competitive up here at the front, and I think this is one of those nights where you have to run up front to finish up front. I don't think you can hang out in the back. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be hard to pass. That's the challenge of this Atlanta track as far as pack racing goes. You don't have the width of Talladega or even Daytona to assist you to move forward in 3 wide.
Yeah, and even with the next gen cars, you can try to get out, side draft a competitor, slow them down. There's some more manipulation tactics you can do. You can still side draft people in the Xfinity cars, but hasn't had anywhere near the same effect that we've seen with the next gen cars. So I think passing is going to be a little bit at a premium, especially early on, because it's going to be kind of up in the air as far as how much drivers are willing to push to try to make some moves to gain some position if they're going to be a little bit more 2 wide and wait for saving 3 wide a little bit later on in the event.
It will be interesting to see where the winner comes from because, as you mentioned, Kyle, track position matters. As in Season 3, Tommy Ryan won from the pole, but a season ago, Jacob York won from 31st, and he didn't even make a pass for the win. He didn't even lead a lap. It was due to a penalty from James Scioli that he made on that final lap. Otherwise, he would have had 12 wins on the season instead of 11. But it is possible to go from the back to the front.
Yeah, wasn't it also true that Connor Horn was on pole on Monday and Brad Slaughter was on pole on Tuesday?
Indeed.
So starting on pole is a good place to be. So waiting for the warm-up here to complete before we get into this 130-lap race. This is a reasonably, I would say, one of the longer races here because the yellows will slow us down at about an hour and a half to complete from flag to flag last time out. Average laps led was 15. Track record of 32.076 at an average of 172.8 miles an hour. It was a different racetrack last season. That was probably race pace, I'd imagine. So as we get into this, let's talk a little bit about what's upcoming as well as far as the season is concerned. Of course, next week we do not have any racing because of the holiday week, but we will head to the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware, 140 laps on the concrete canyons in the Northeast. That will be 2 weeks' time. Then we head to the Charlotte Roval and do our one and only road race this season, Finian, kind of stepping back from doing at least 2 road races that we've done the last couple of seasons. And the Charlotte Roval is kind of a road course and kind of not. So there's it's a little bit of a change. We haven't had a race on the Roval in quite some time, so that's kind of an unknown value going into that.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing that, especially again because that puts a lot of emphasis for the really good road racers in this series. If you're not particularly good at the ovals, it's your best shot at trying to get some sort of ticket into the playoffs. So a lot of guys are going to probably have that circle on their calendar.
Well, let's roll through the Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. It's going to take us a while. 3 DNQs, as we mentioned. Cars 56, 42, and 85 will fail to qualify for tonight's event. Let's kick things off, though, with the front row. It's Connor Urashak in the number 12 on pole. If things continue as they have this week, he could be the winner tonight. Justin Munsell starts second in the number 6 Toyota Supra.
Back in row number 2, it's going to be JT Poole in the number 26, starting the inside next to Bronson Stafford in the 61, starting in 4th.
Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 8 Tuesday's winner rolls off 5th. Justin Anasogak 6th in the number 88 Toyota.
Back in 7th, it's going to be Jake Nichols in the 73 Machine X and Brandy Bowie in the number 23 in 8th place.
Eric Wineland starts 9th in the number 66. Mason Kane 10th in the number 31.
Back in 11 is going to be James Skyle in the number 7 Machine X and Bryce Senizak. We're going to round out row number 6 in the 09.
It's Alex Bell in the number 15 in his Toyota Supra. Alan Elwood starts 14th in the number 10.
Row 8, you find Garrett Grant in 15th in the 5 car. Next to him, Greg Mitchell in the number 2 in 16th.
17th, David Weishart in the number 33 Supra. Chris Rabel 18th in the number 29 Ford Mustang.
Back in 19th, it's going to be Casey Lakatos in the number 50 car. Next to him, Jordan Martin in the 38 in 20th.
21st place is Alex Weaver in the number 62, the Coca-Cola Chevrolet. Joey Chapman in the Toyota Supra, the number 60 in 22nd.
Back in 23rd, it's going to be number 4, Cameron Hearn in the inside lane. Next to him, Eugenio Alonso in the 86 in 24th.
25th place is Jeremy Miller in the number 30 Supra. Ben Pierce 26th in the number 65 Camaro.
In 27th will be the 27 car of Travis Beckner. Next to him, Clayton Montgomery in the 45 in 28th.
29th place is Tom Bourne in the number 16 Supra. John Furness starts 30th in the number 28 Machine.
Moving back to find the 49 of Danny Ware, going to be rolling off in 31st. Next to him, Shane Abbey in the 84 in 32nd.
And 33rd place is Nico Garcia in the number 41 Camaro. Richard Thomas, 34th in the number 37 Machine.
Back to 35th, it's going to be 54, Ryan Swan. Next to him, Shane Terrian in the number 9.
And then it's Delonte Ballard in 37th, the number 21. Jeffrey Wilson is the did not qualify driver tonight. Did not make the field. Neither did Brody Falliker, but Sean Peachin will roll off in 39th place. Steve Durham starts 41st in the number 1, A.J. Roderick. And then Ed Robertson, Nick Massey, Matthew Bell, and Ryan Hart's the rest of your field. Did I not see the pace car? Am I tripping right now? There it is.
There's a pace car.
It rolled off, and I didn't see it, and I went, what's going on? I've had that happen. We've seen that happen before, where the pace car didn't show. Also seen it where it never pulled off.
Listen, the pace car is eternal. It just exists in
Hunter,
perpetuity.
who wins this race tonight?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, where the pole sitters won every race this weekend, and the driver on pole has yet to win a race this year, so I'm going to go with the 12 of Urashak.
Good pick. Finian, who you got?
Listen, I like the mask. I think it's going to give him an extra 5 horsepower, 10 horsepower. I'm going to go with JT Poole in the number 26.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to look down the order. I think that in the right spot, in the right place, I think that James Scioli is going to come from 11th to win this one and get his second win. Third win on the season.
He's won quite a bit.
Yeah, he sure has. I think I was right. 2 wins on the season. As we roll out of turn 4, it's 130 laps, the 4th round of the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series from Atlanta, Georgia. Pack racing at a 1.5 miler. Who survives the night in the Georgia red soil? Here we go, green flag. I think it's just due to the way that these cars make power and the way that they make downforce, but it's so crazy how much faster these feel like they're going compared to the Cup cars on Monday.
Yeah, I think it just probably is, like you said, just the way that they make their power and downforce. It just feels a lot quicker than flying past the screen. Speaking of flying past, here comes JT Poole trying to go to the outside of his teammate, or at the very least just trying to control that outside lane for that team. And got the 6 Justin Munsell in behind, as well as Brad Sauter tucked in behind on the inside lane. Ooh, and extra, maybe
gonna make it 3 wide. Oh man, he thought about it, but it's still early on. But the Ada Slaughter wants to set a tone, set the message straight, trying to lead a lap here as we're 3 wide over here in the back. Jeremy Miller on the outside, Beckner on the inside. They closed up that gap. It was a 62 of Weaver there that was in the middle. In the meantime, JT Poole's gone to the lead in the 26.
And with assistance from Justin Munsell, how many times has he been robbed of a win or been so close and missed it by that much? This guy, I can't believe none of us picked him. He is due for a win. He's hungry for a win. Look at the focus on his face and going forward here early.
Yeah, definitely a driver that's hoping for a little bit more. I mean, he's starting off pretty strong here, a good starting position, but obviously it's not where you started that counts, it's where you finish, so we'll have to check in on Munsell, but he's definitely really, like you mentioned, dude one, so curious to see where he ends up. He's only sitting 29th in the point standing, so you can definitely use a decent points haul from tonight.
4th car on the inside lane, the 7 of Skyly. Kyle's picked to win the race, up to 7th already after starting in the 11th spot. Making up some ground there. A little bit of separation, though, behind him, though, with the Stafford machine on the outside and then Alex Bell on the inside.
Whoa, car loose in the background. Caution's going to fly. It's a 16 and Tom Bourne around.
Oh, more trouble out of 2. Beckner's in it.
Beckner.
They straighten it back out. I think everyone got away with it, but 2 incidents in 1 as Bourne was in the center of all that.
And this is an interesting wreck, and this is what I had a bit of a concern with looking in practice. You're going to see Tom Bourne here go up on the high side, and it looked like he might have put a little bit too much wheel into it. He got loose by himself, and around he went.
Peachin and the 45 also collected in that. That was Clayton Montgomery. And then while all that was happening, I saw Beckner turn nose first into the outside wall as they checked. You see the check up there from the yellow, and then the 4 and the 50 get together. That turns Beckner into Lacatus.
And taking a look at that, it was just horrible net code that between the 4 of Cameron Hearn and the 27 of Beckner.
Beckner did a really good job of steering it back straight after getting turned into the outside wall. So, first of all, he's got some damage to repair. But as we saw on Monday and Tuesday, I don't think the damage with this new damage model is as big of a concern, provided you can get most of it fixed without going a lap down. Couple of cars heading down to pit lane here this early, Hunter. Maybe the strategy, maybe not. I don't know what we're kind of gearing up for. It seemed like it was kind of all over the place on Monday and Tuesday. Your pit window is 55 to 60 laps.
Yeah, a lot of guys that are running towards the bag, trying to see what they can do. Why not fix it up with the fuel mileage? Some of those guys, though, involved in that checkup on the inside line, going to get some cosmetic repairs, it looks like. And I think it's a splash and go maybe for... Is that Ben Pierce? No, that is... What car is that?
I think you might have been right. 60.
Oh, I was right. Okay.
Yep. Ben Pierce in the 65. There's the blue and white car. There's Alex Weaver back there. 84 of Shane Abbey back here as well. And Travis Beckner, we're getting repairs completed here, Finian.
Yeah, it looks like the majority of the field is coming in to get some gas and get back out there. Not really anyone taking tires, except for really, I think, anyone really getting a lengthy amount of repairs, including Travis Beckner in the 27. Here's how much of this is going to be required repairs. I can't imagine a whole lot. Most of his damage is to the rear of the car. Up there he goes. There's our answer.
Probably just doesn't want to go a lap down either. Just get yourself trapped. Although I wouldn't be, again, this early in the race, I wouldn't be that concerned about going a lap down. I'd rather get my car fixed. You know you're going to get more yellows tonight, so might as well take advantage of that.
Yeah, you never know. You could just be extremely lucky and they happen to go green from flag to flag. Although looking at the way these cars are handling, I have a little suspicion that that might not be the case.
They always seem to handle differently by a mile than the Cup cars or the trucks. And looking through, looks like 24th on, stayed out, 25th on back, pitted, being led by the 4 of Cameron Hearn.
Yurashak all the way on the apron by the grass and trying to save some fuel.
Well, you don't have the pickup tube simulation, so I'm not exactly sure what that would be all about.
Short way around.
Oh, I suppose. I don't know that would do you any better than just shutting the engine off and coasting, but...
That doesn't remind me, though, you're talking about the pickup tube. I always just felt like, what they do in real life, they swing the car back and forth and get that little extra droplets. I've done that in the past, too, just hoping that something would help.
No. It'd be cool if it did, but that would, that'd be interesting if the amount of G's that you were pulling left or right had an effect on your fuel flow when your tank was low. I guess that wouldn't be all that hard to do if you just had some linear relationship with G's. But anyway, pace car is going to pull off. Let's try this again at lap number 9. Connor Yurashak and JT Poole are your leaders in the Calusa Pines Chevrolets out in front right now. One car blinking, Bronson Stafford there in row 4. Green flag back in the air and back underway at Atlanta.
Great start for the number 12 machine, and he's got his teammate controlling that outside lane at the moment. Everyone building speed back up through 1 and 2, and as the 12 going to dive down below to block that inside lane, control that inside lane where he has been all race.
Going to continue to do that as JT Poole leads on the outside. So Low Dollar Racing has both bottom and top lane secured, being led by Yurashak on the bottom, Poole on the outside, although Munsell going to give a little push there, more close action there than on the inside lane. It's going to give Poole this lap. Might have him set to come down low heading into turn 1.
JT Poole clear of the 12 almost. Munsell giving him a good shove. There's Eric Wineland, had a really nice qualifying effort in that 66. And qualified well, if I recall, at Kentucky, but it was the strategy that put him deep in the field after he fell back initially. So hoping that the strategy goes more his way. Had pace in the first run, then the strategy progressively got him further and further off sequence until he had no tires left to compete. 10 laps complete here in Atlanta, 120 to go.
They're looking basically like they were pacing around here, 2x2 around this track at 170 miles an hour. Looking pretty stable for the moment. Georgia Fuel is everyone's pretty much within 5 seconds of each other.
It's a very good way to put it. 170 mile an hour pace laps, all side-by-side action. No 3 wide yet. No one trying to push the envelope as Munsell is trying to push on that outside lane to get a little more leverage as Poole continues to lead away on the outside. Yurashak on the bottom, still Low Dollar Racing, door-to-door for the lead in turn 2.
Couple packs dropping to the rear. Again, if you can't go forward right now, you might as well drop backwards just a touch, because if a crash happens mid-pack and you're just sitting at the tail of it and drive into it, you're going to feel silly. You know you're going to get some yellows before the end of this race. You just need to keep yourself in touch. We saw on, was it Monday or Tuesday that we saw JT Poole, I think it was Tuesday, drive up around the outside, just relentlessly sneaking up on the outside over and over and over again, trying to make that third lane work, because it was the only place where there wasn't cars, and the only place you can make passes is where other drivers are not.
Yeah, 100%. As they work down the back straightaway, see Carter. It looks like Brad Sutter kind of wants to make a move. I could see the same thing with Justin Munsell, but I guess they're not feeling necessarily confident that they can make it stick at the moment. I guess they're pretty content. You don't really need the lead at the moment. You're basically there, just one row of cars in behind, so it looks like they're going to stick behind at the moment. JT Poole has a bit of a flash on the front straightaway.
Yeah, a little bit of separation there on that outside lane between Poole and Weiland, the third car on that outside lane. Not sure what's going on there. It could build up some momentum, or it could build room for someone like maybe Jake Nichols in the 73 to move up to the outside if he wants to, as they're still navigating their way through 3 and 4.
Nichols has kept a pretty low profile tonight. Look at this, 3 wide, Slaughter to the bottom. The 12 of Jurasek split the difference there in the sucker hole into turn 1, and Justin Munsell right on his door through turn 2.
That got very dicey, and it's one of those moments you're really glad this is the new damage model on these cars, because the old damage model, 6 and the 12 would have been hooked up and into the catch fence in turns 1 and 2, as they're quite literally leaning on each other in those corners, and it looks like Munsell's going to get bullied out and drop back 1 more spot.
Slaughter trying to lead the lap. Poole, though, going to have the run on the outside to edge him out by a nose. And then he's got Jurasek behind him. So Low Dollar Racing went from leading both lines to now being the first 2 drivers on the outside. Meanwhile, the move from Slaughter put him in front of the 73. Jake Nichols still leading that bottom lane. But see how this works out as they head into turn 3.
3 Supras lined up on the bottom lane. Brad Slaughter, the winner from Tuesday in one of the closest finishes in area history. 3 1,000ths of a second between himself and Mason Kane. It was really tight. Brad knows how to get it done. He played exactly the formula that Connor Horn played on Monday. That was just run the bottom lane, be comfortable, click off laps, and then move to the high side late in the stages of the race and get aggressive in the last 15 or 20 laps. And he's already repeating much of the same tonight.
Slow car to Steve Durham slow on the bottom. Not sure what's the issue with his car, because don't see any damage, but he's slowing on the apron. I think he's going to make his way to pit road. The field continues to weigh on JT Poole back to the bottom lane. So Low Dollar Racing in control of the field. They just swap lanes.
Poole's got all the advantage in the world right now. Can go up on the outside or could block the bottom. He's continuing to have the Ada Slaughter give him a little shove heading into the turn, but not as much of a shove as Munsell to the 12 of Jurasek. Here he comes on the outside.
Controlling this field on the top and bottom is a pretty good place to be. So on Monday night, the Cup cars struggled to keep pace on the bottom. The outside lane was clearly the preferred line, especially when you were by yourself. Tuesday night, we saw much more even running between
car loose in the background, so to cut you off. The 88 Justin Sogak just able to save it on the apron, but was drifting through turns 1 and 2. Let's look at our sim market replay. He was already on the apron. And I'm curious if he got loose heading into turn 1 or if he had some help.
Yeah, let's see if we can go back maybe one more time.
Kept it straight, though.
Let's see here. Was I a lap before or behind? I don't know.
I think a lap before.
Couldn't catch it. It's all right. Down at 38.
I took a look at it. He just self-spin on the bottom lane. I think he was trying to avoid another car and got himself loose.
Seen a bit of a wiggle there out of the 6 as well. And so the point I was finishing was that on Tuesday, the top and bottom were basically equal. We're seeing something kind of similar to that now. I think the outside might be a hair better. But on Monday, the outside was absolutely the place to be, and the bottom lane could hardly keep pace with the top. That's just the way those Cup cars are very weird. They race very weird in comparison. Going to be 3 wide again, Munsell. Well, he thought better of it. Doesn't want to he's going to have to. The 12 doesn't want to be a part of that middle line.
Well, he doesn't want to be a part of that outside lane because there's no one in that outside lane, and unfortunately he's going to be the only one there and going to have to drop back a couple spots. But yeah, just got forced out of there, and even if Munsell didn't want to make the pass, he basically had to because Wineland was getting him a push from behind.
Going to pick up Mason Kane maybe, Hunter, and bring him back forward. Oh, they're both in the wall.
Low Dollar Racing teammate. Oh, yep, that's the dangers of running 3 wide in middle of the turns after this newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway. You get a little too close to that wall into turns, and then your car's just stuck in there like glue. But fortunately, they didn't let anyone else involved. They did lose some valuable track position. We're 3 wide up front.
Sure are. Brad Slaughter Jr. takes the lead away. JT Poole in the middle, and somehow Jake Nichols and Slaughter line back up again, but Munsell gets pushed out. He's going to drop like a pair of concrete boots.
Yeah, got forced out of line in that little bit of an exchange, and unfortunately Munsell the one losing out, but going to collect back up into 10th place, so still very much in the running near the front. But yeah, I think we're definitely seeing that with these drivers are a little bit hesitant to go 3 wide. We're not seeing a third lane really form. And I think that's just, again, everyone's a little bit concerned with the way the cars are handling. They don't feel exactly as confident as they probably did on Monday and Tuesday with the Cup and the truck cars, which look a lot more planned than what these guys are dealing with tonight.
Most of the field would hesitate to make it 3 wide, but Brian Slaughter did the opposite of that as he made a 3 wide into turn 1, and that's why he's in position as the race leader on the bottom of the racetrack. When you go in car with Alan Elwood in the 10, running inside the top 10, trying to make it inside the top 5, just under that bottom, right behind the 7 of Skyhold.
Just behind him is David Weishart in the 33. Kind of a Army Man toy green, that 33 machine, that kind of matte plasticky olive color. Getting single filed out just behind Munsell, who's settled into 9th. And you see the 12, big wiggle.
Joe Miller sideways on the bottom. He will save it in the number 30.
Not yet.
Oh, he's going to drift into pit lane is what he's going to do.
Yep. And, well, I guess that'll force his hand.
Well, early pit stop for the number 30.
Well, I was just about to mention that the outside lane, as we saw that cause the first accident, is looking really slippery up there right now. The cars are not comfortable up top. So, again, the caution clock is running, I'll tell you that.
Well, I was going to, don't bring that up. Yeah, bottom lane's honestly looking equally as slippery, too, because that's where Miller just spun from, and we saw earlier Justin Inosuga got a little bit loose there as well. So I think it's a little bit of a trade-off, I guess. You know, if you find yourself, your car's handling a little bit better on the top or a little bit better on the bottom, might have to pick one, as a couple of cars going a lap down. That is Casey Lakatos.
Spinning on the apron, too. And crash behind him. There it is. Oh, big hit. Caution is out
Ryan
now.
Swan's car is destroyed.
Yeah, there was a big hit there. Thought happening. Casey Lakatos was spinning on the apron. I don't know if this was in reaction to that or completely separate. Oh, no, just got the same thing we saw the first caution it caused by.
Oh, yeah, big hit right there.
Genio Alonso. Yeah, not really much that Alonso could have done to miss this. This is a perfect example of wrong place, wrong time. Man, that's a hard hit.
Yeah. Brutal hip check into the outside wall for Alonso, so he's going to have to repair the front end of that car.
Place it.
Riding on board with him.
GP2 engine. Man, unlucky. So second yellow of the night, and see what field does for pit stops. I'd imagine we're going to bring them down. The track temperature is hot, Hunter. It's over 125 degrees. I think that's contributing. We didn't see a lot of time fall off, but the handling fall off is definitely there. And that's a risky combination, because if the cars aren't slowing down but they're getting worse to drive, then it's going to be a wild ride tonight.
I was just about to say that the longer we go into these runs, the more and more wear and tear is going to be on the tires, especially at a track like Atlanta. Even though it's a new pavement, this track is notorious in its past for its tire wear, and I've seen a little bit of that towards the end.
Sorry to cut you off. John Furness destroyed his engine.
Okay.
If you want to go and catch the moment, it was in 3 and 4 coming to pit road here.
I thought I heard a noise, and let's go find out.
That was probably his engine getting blown to pieces in the middle in turns 3 and 4 here. It's a little bit in the entry to 3 here. So you see him on the apron, and that's after the engine went kaput, but here he is. So catching the pace car here. And it looks like around here he's going to slow down.
Oh, misshifted.
Yeah.
Money shifted. What's trying to go down to second, or probably it's probably a 4-3, and he went 4-1. And
boom confetti.
Yeah.
Not the good kind of boom confetti.
No.
Shifted to R for race. So out of the pits, everyone has made a pit stop. Everybody, except for Casey Lakatos. And some that just came back down pit lane. So James Skiley leads the way. It's Brad Slaughter Jr. behind. Everybody took 4 tires as well. That tells me we saw a lot of 2-tire stops on Tuesday. They weren't fighting. It wasn't really tire-related handling. It was just slick. But tonight it seems like you burn up those right sides and you lose grip over the course of the run. Everybody wants 4, and they've all taken them.
Yeah, I'm not too too surprised that that's the case because we're seeing guys get a little bit slick out there, so they're definitely going to want to comfort tires when they can. So, in a weird sense, it just kind of adds to the weirdness, the anomaly that Atlanta is. So, being a pack racing track, tire changes are going to matter. Handling does matter.
So, re-racked and restacked. Of course, we've had a couple replays so far, and SimWrap Market is our replay sponsor. Race fans, head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. And if you're not subscribed to SimTV, please do that. Make sure you're tuned in. We've got a lot of racing left to go this season, and while we're off, with the exception of the DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League next holiday week, we will be back with 3 races a week for the area series for the next couple of months until we complete season 5. The 1 Ford in the top 10, all the rest are Chevrolets and Toyotas.
Ooh, and sorry, an update from the 28. Looks like he's left the server, so he will retire, unfortunately.
28?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that engine's not fixable. Money shift is, you blow the rockers right off that thing. Not going back together. At that ventilated block mod. It's like a Subaru. Green flag back in the air. Lap 31 of 130. That means we have 100 laps to go.
Yeah, and a great restart for Brad Slaughter and James Scaoli. Have a chance here getting the lead away. As we can get enough of a push and a run on the bottom. He's got the 10 of Alan Elwood as well, so a couple new faces near the front of the field. We'll see what they can do here in this shuffle that we had under yellow.
Indeed, as the outside lane held by the 8 of Slaughter, the 7 of Skyly on the bottom, 2 really strong guys leading it, and then 2 really strong guys pushing it. You got Jake Nichols on the outside as Slaughter blinks, and on the inside, Alan Elwood in the 10 as they roll through turns 1 and 2.
I wonder what it is with the blinking. I feel like I've seen a lot of that this season in particular.
Yeah,
Probably all
I don't know.
Comcast, probably.
I mean, I guess because it's weird because there's been quite a few drivers. It's not been just 1 or 2 same people. There's been quite a few drivers in across different series. So I don't know, but hopefully whatever it is gets fixed. Yeah, the easiest thing is to just blame Comcast for it, but
Well, it's their fault.
loose. No. Great run for Brad Slaughter off the corner. I gotta say, I really feel like that outside lane is just a little bit better than the bottom. It's not nearly as big of a difference that we saw on Monday, but I think they can get a little bit more of an edge to get that run off the corner. I think drivers feeling a little bit more confident in the car that they can push harder off the corner now, so we're starting to see them just a little bit further ahead as Slaughter's trying to see maybe if he can clear.
Yeah, a lot of separation there on that outside lane. All you need are about 3 or 4 cars, and they're showing it right now as Slaughter continues to lead on the outside. Nichols, JT Poole, and then Euroshack on the outside lane. Still mightily tight on the bottom, but that outside lane starting to close back in. And as you see Mason Kane in the red car on the outside lane close the gap.
Alan Elwood pushing Scioli along the bottom. Another driver that's hunting for the bottom of the racetrack is Eric Weinman. We haven't jumped on board with him yet. We mentioned his good qualifying effort. Started this race up inside the top 10. He's been there since the drop of the green flag and played a very smart race earlier this week as well.
Having a really solid run on that bottom lane. I like the unsponsored look that the 66 has. Out there by himself, needs some sponsors.
You don't see too
economy
much
is
of
tough.
that. Yeah.
I got to give these guys credit also, by the way. Everyone, I think for the most part, most drivers have sponsors that they have some personal tie or connection to, which I think is really neat.
Like an actual sponsor.
Yeah, it makes it feel more. I don't want to say realistic. It's not like we're a bunch of role-playing people, but I mean, it's just. I think it gives the. I guess an air of legitimacy to all of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't be legit. I'm just saying it's cool. Here comes the 26 of JT Poole to the outside, and he's gonna have his teammate, low dollar racing teammate Connor Urashak, and there's Mason Kane back there as well too, trying to make that third lane go someplace, and JT wasn't shy about it on Tuesday and not shy about it now. Here he comes.
Well, he's got some help, so they might have a better shot of making something work here. He definitely can't have just one car out there trying to be the hero by himself. Might need 3 or 4.
Oh!
JT pull loose.
Wow, big catch.
But big damage to the back of that car.
The power of the Luce Libre mask for JT Poole. Keeping that car straight. Last week or a couple weeks ago, it was the Chick-fil-A milkshake. This week it's the Luce Libre. I can't even say it because it's such a tongue twister. But the mask was working for JT Poole. Kept his car straight and prevented from the first big one of the night, Kyle.
Yeah, watch this on the outside of Jake Nichols. Gets in there, just gets a little bit high, has to put a bit too much steering in it right there. It turns down the hill and big correction back to the right. And did an excellent job hanging on to it, but he's going to drop all the way down to 34th place as James Scioli is almost clear of Slaughter for the top spot here, this time on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, and actually, I'm kind of surprised at how far off the pace GT is. It looks like he's really lost a lot of speed, and I have to imagine that's all aerodynamic related because he didn't take a hit on the front. So I can't imagine the engine's affected, but he's really slowing off the pace now in the 26.
Also got a good bit of separation now from about 13th or so on. And,
and he's confused why he's so slow.
I'm not sure what's going on. Sounds like he's full throttle, too. It's not like he's just butting around. So that's peculiar.
Yeah, I can hear him in the race chat. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He has absolutely no clue why the car is so slow and off the pace. Also, an update to a couple laps ago, Jeremy Miller lost connection to his connection to the drop, so he's another one's going to bite the dust here.
I'll imagine that's it for him for the night.
Yeah.
Good even racing up here at the front. 2 Toyotas leading the field, then it's a Chevrolet and a Toyota in that second row. Down the back straightaway, Scioli lunges forward into the lead. Now, last season when he won the championship, it didn't seem like he cared what racetrack they were at, what kind of racing that they were doing. He won basically everything last time around. And already off to a pretty good start this season, and that's why I picked him to win this race. Maybe not the most well-positioned pack racer, but he's always in, I guess, the front 10 or so when push comes to shove. Much like the 73 of Jake Nichols, you don't just accidentally end up multi-time champions of anything. You have to be up front competing. Even your bad days are good.
Well, I can tell you that of the plate races we had, I'm going to include Atlanta in this, so Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. He didn't win any of them.
Well, but he ran good in them. He just got wrecked probably at the end. 2 by 2 off of 2.
I'll try to get you the stats on that, but he's doing well at the moment.
Oh, look at the 12.
Almost 2 by 3. Here comes Jurashak looking up the middle, trying to break up the monotony here and going to force a 73 out of lane.
That's one way to make it 3 wide, and they'll go on the outside, go in the middle, and that's why we're seeing now as the low-dollar racing teammates of Jurashak and Mason Kane have sent the 73 Jake Nichols up and out to dry as they roll through turn 1 and 2, and the 73 going to try and tuck back in line behind the 31. It's going to be tough, though, but it's going to make it work off, too.
Probably going, what the heck did I do to deserve that? Been running the bottom most of the night, not making anybody upset, and just gets shuffled out. But that's when you're running in this outside lane, you kind of have to protect the middle, because if you get lazy with where you're placing the car and someone sees that gap open up, they can just jam a car down the inside. They've got the shorter way around. Everyone's going to follow you the shorter way around and just drive by the guy on the outside, which is what happened there.
Yeah, I think pretty sure we're going to probably start to see guys learn about that more and more, just trying to make sure they just keep it tight and don't let someone try to make them move and force it out of lane, because we've already seen quite a few drivers already tonight just have that happen to them. Someone goes up the middle, they get forced out of line, and down the pack you will go.
Essentially what's on the 31 of Mason Kane's car, that move from Jurashak and Kane to Jake Nichols in the 73. Just hucked it to the outside. They hucked him up, and they got a couple more spots out of it, and now they're right behind the blinking Brad Slaughter, continuing to lead the way, though, as Scioli continues to march on the inside with Alan Elwood in tow.
JT Poole, by the way, had gone to pit lane He is now 3 laps down, but back on the racetrack.
He
As
is
I say
actually
that.
heading back down to pit lane.
Yeah.
It looks like the repairs were not enough.
So that is going to be a tough night for JT Poole. Certainly taken out of a shot to win. And wasn't he your
Well,
pick?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, there goes that.
Oh, man. Wow. The 8 came
Yeah, I
back.
saw that.
Oh, no, that's too long.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I think someone really needs to yell at Comcast or whoever these guys are using as internet providers. We lost Jeremy Miller to internet. Alex Weaver, I think, has also dropped at the same time as well. He haven't seen him on the track, and he left as soon as Brad started to flash.
Oh no, his identity's been revealed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting nervous with the 8 out of line here, blinking. Just because when cars disappear, then reappear 3 wide, it makes everybody nervous. It seems to have stabilized a little bit. But, man, it really has been a tough season as far as blinking is concerned.
Yep, and now we officially lost Alex Weaver from the server.
Oh, man. I wonder if it's... Oh, big slide there from the 7. Big wiggle.
Oh, he's still not done.
I wonder if it's service-wide, if something iRacing changes caused that.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance.
I haven't noticed it in other series, though, like WDCR. Oh, the 33 of Weishart into Wineland and crash out of turn 2. And it's going to be a bunch of cars, including the 8 and more.
Oh, man, Brett Sauter got the worst out of this. I just saw him go flying into the inside wall.
Who just carved through there at the end of that? Man. Well, big crash out of turn 2. Let's see how this one started. It started initially with the 33 of Weishart, and I have to bear with me here because everyone's bouncing around on the timing screen. So the 33 was the first car I saw get turned around. Just at the front there, you see him go out of frame.
He just got loose there on the bottom. Might have clipped that apron and upset the car.
Came back up the road, got into the 66, also got loose. And all the rest of this was ahead of this. I'm just trying to figure out who was in the center of it so I can find it. And then here's the second crash, the 84 of Shane Abbey in the wall. And then the 4 of Cameron Hearn, just nowhere to go. Big hit there.
Oh, my gosh.
Between those two. That was enormous.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw there Brad Sauter just flying at the end. He really got hit by quite a few people in this wreck.
Oh, man.
And then right to the front.
You can see the roof number all the way from the front stretch grandstands. You know that it was a bad wreck.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
I can tell you one car, the car that you're seeing weave through there is Shane Terrian in the number 9 machine.
Yeah, we're going to have to go on board with him here momentarily. Man, the 4 got a bad end of that. So, Shane Terrian, where are you on my
30th.
screen? Thank you for the assistance. Now he's 29th, now he's 28th. That's why you got to grab him real fast.
Yeah, once they head to the pit lane, it's a nightmare trying to find people. But here's Shane Terrian on the bottom lane. Team tucked in behind. Ended up getting in the back of the 29 machine, and just him, all the chaos unfolding around him. Dodges to the left, goes to the right, has to go right a little bit more, and he's third.
And then the 4 of
Dodging
Cameron
race
Hearn.
cars, bumper covers, dodging anything that's in the path of the 9. But yeah, I saw the 4 of Cameron Hearn get involved in that. That was his bumper that was actually flying across the 9 of Tyranny.
Let's watch how it got disassembled. There's the slide, 66 into the 31. And he thinks he's through, and then look out. Man. Big wreck. Took out a couple of key players in that one, including Brad Slaughter Jr., who I almost picked to win this race because of his excellent play on Tuesday night, but that car has got a lot of damage. All right, pit stops have happened. Once again, everybody hit pit lane. Everyone took 4 tires. No surprises there. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings.
I can tell you one thing, we're starting to lose quite a few more cars. And a lot of cars are looking, like they have a lot more damage out there. Everyone from 35th on back is down getting repairs on pit lane.
And one thing I wanted to point out right before we go back green, when Brad Slaughter was blinking in and out, caused that checkup effect on the outside line. That allowed for the 7 of Scioli to squeeze through on the bottom and work his way on the outside to get the lead. A couple of laps just before that big wreck occurred. Otherwise, he would have been involved in that. So one driver's misfortune is another's advantage, as the 7 Scioli proved just that, barely avoiding the big one, Kyle, and now is going to restart as our leader on the bottom.
Yeah, then that's one of those scenarios where you're Brad Slaughter, you're like, I was just trying to do the right thing, and it puts you in harm's way. But that's the luck of the draw, or I guess suppose the unluck of the draw. James Scioli leads the way back under green here momentarily, lap 53 of 130 from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Green flag back in the air.
Solid jump for the number 7 of Scioli. Jurasek trying to see if he can get something going back on the top side, and he's actually going to get a pretty solid run out of turn 2. He's got the 73 Nichols in behind him.
Ooh, massive moves being made from top to bottom there in the back. Looks like that was Greg Mitchell in the 2 making the jump to the bottom, as it's only Jurasek and the 73 Nichols on the outside. Meanwhile, the bottom tightly formed between Scioli and Alan Elwood.
Almost came together there in 3 and 4, running very tight to each other's door. Got away with it. I wouldn't plan on that later in the run when the cars are moving around a lot more.
Flying by out of turn 2 and on the back straightaway for these drivers. It's going to be Jurasek still on the top side. Greg Mitchell, you're talking about making some moves. He's already the 3rd car on the outside lane. Good restart for the number 2 machine, ready to play ball with the guys up in front.
And the 4th car on that outside lane, a little bit ways back. The 09 of Bryce Sensack was almost caught up in that crash. Having a solid run, as mentioned, 2 top 10s of the Cup Series this season. Has not had one yet in the Pro Series. Looking on his way to getting that first top 10 of the season if he can keep things clean.
You see the 7 out of turn 2. Get a big wiggle off the nose of the 10. Here's a look at it again. Watch the 7 right here. Well, maybe I was seeing things. Looked fine. Two of Greg Mitchell's up there battling in the number 2 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, having a solid run at the moment. See if he's going to do anything with it or make some moves. I mean, again, like we said though, if you're going to try to make a 3rd lane work, you're really going to need someone to help you out. But even then, we saw only one attempt at really making a move, and that was JT Poole and Connor Jurasek. But that was very much a failed attempt. Nothing much really went with it, and if anything, it caused JT Poole to retire from the race.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Poole and Jurasek, as Jurasek's actually still up front, but he's lost all of his teammates. No Beckner, no Mason Kane, and no JT Poole. So it's just him on his own leading that outside lane, as Scioli's got Alan Elwood once again trying to give him the lead in turn 3.
Oh, watch that 7. Loose on the bottom again. And Justin Munsell lurking in 5th. And one of the drivers that might be the hungriest after coming up short so many times in the last couple of seasons. His playoff elimination last season, that was heartbreaking. Crashed by a lap car, basically under yellow. And now just rides in 5th here, right in the catbird seat for when things get wild a bit later in the night. We're closing in on halfway here pretty soon. And then we kind of run this race in reverse from there on out, and that's when things get wild, as that last 25, 30 laps.
Again, I'm really curious to see how much these guys are going to really push it, because we've seen them, the handling is a bit of a struggle for some of these drivers. So, you know, I don't know if they really feel comfortable pushing too hard. I mean, obviously, you know, later part of the race, you're going to want to gain positions, but again, you're risking potentially crashing out and ruining your entire race at the end. So that's what I'm really curious to see, is how much these guys are going to be willing to force it if they need to. I think what will really be interesting is if we do have green flag pit stops, and it kind of separates out the field.
I don't know that we will, Hunter. We've seen so much slipping and sliding just 20 laps into a run. I can't fathom going 40 or more.
No, you get too long into a run, you're going to see cars spinning and tipping and flipping. I don't think we'll get past maybe 35 laps in a green flag run. I don't think we'll see green flag pit stops in general, but just like you said, 20, 30 laps into a run, the tires start to go, cars start to slide more, and then drivers tend to lose it more. But for right now, they're doing just fine. Euroshack on the outside, Skyly on the bottom across the stripe. We're inching closer and closer to halfway.
Yeah, just 5 laps until that marker. Dead even heat here at the front. Been a lot of the same players in the top 5 most of the night. Suns, a couple that were up front early, including the 8 and the 26. There are 32 cars on the lead lap. We started this race with a full field of 43, so 11 cars, 1 lap down or more. And 7 cars completely out. And maybe 8 now. Brandon Bowie's on pit lane. And he's been for a while. Oh, watch the 12 here. Gonna get sucker hold middle 3 wide.
Ooh, almost. The 73 trying to work to the outside. But again, for Nichols, that's a risky move because we've seen drivers typically are tending to stay, closer to the inside line. So they're going to go the shortest way around. So Nichols would potentially be caught out by that. I think he wants to get to the inside of the 12, but obviously Euroshack's not letting him do that whatsoever.
Nichols, remember that move that Euroshack made on him going into turn 1? I believe it was turn 1? Yeah. You remember that move from earlier in the race, and it looks like he's going to try and force him middle now. Not going to have enough, though. Although that was a move that Euroshack did. Euroshack forced Nichols outside.
Side by side down the back straightaway here. It's still dead even between the 12 and the 7.
Really, we have seen it be a dead heat for everyone all night long. Haven't seen any lane, particularly even though the outside lane, I still think is a little bit stronger. They haven't been able to really get really much of a lead. Maybe half a car length at most. They've been pretty dead even in both lanes.
Yeah, been a lot of the same tonight. As mentioned Finian earlier, 170 mile an hour pace laps, that's what it looks like. And then someone goes 3 wide, push the envelope a little bit, and then we get some carnage unfolding. But we have yet to see it on this run. Have some drivers try to make it 3 wide. As 73 Nichols was trying to do so a couple of times. Hasn't done it quite yet. Still tucked in behind the 12 of Euroshack, as is the 10 of Elwood. And Euroshack actually going to go to the bottom and block the 7 of Skyoli.
Yeah, changes lanes. Now that he's clear again, he can kind of start to control this. Skyoli, though, not going to fall for that. Jumps to the outside, then goes back to the inside. The 12 chases him across the road in both instances.
He wants to control the lead.
Elwood to the outside.
Whoa, look at Elwood.
But big move for the number 10, Alan Elwood, now trying to get past as these 2 battle ahead of him. And he will at least take control of the top lane. Does the 12 of Euroshack go back up to defend it? He stays on the bottom for now.
Alan Elwood went winless in Season 4 in the Truck Series. Had a couple of good runs close to reaching victory lane, but has yet to win a race this season also. Although this is his best opportunity at winning a race thus far. Running second on the outside lane as Euroshack continues to block outside. Now go back to the inside and back to the outside.
Ooh.
Might get caught in the middle here, Kyle. 3 wide across the stripe for the lead.
He will get caught in the middle. Reminds me so much of Jake Matheson on Monday, just trying to manage too much and looking quite frantic out there at the moment. And now stuck middle 3 wide for second as Skyoli clears the 12. Look at the run from the outside from Elwood and Jake Nichols. They're going to quickly try to dispatch the 12 and get him out of there, but it's going to be tough to clear him with that middle lane being a shorter way around. It's going to get dicey here out of turn 3. Almost 20 laps on these tires as well, so you're going to start to see those handling issues, Finian, that we saw pop up at the ends of the earlier runs.
Yeah, and it looks like, well, while outside lane was just starting to get some steam, looks like they might start falling back. Jake Nichols, it looks like he's kind of committed to it, not really, but he's going to back out of it. You can see there the 10 going back to the inside. The 2, Greg Mitchell stuck out there. He's going to start dropping back there, being out by himself. And unfortunately, it looks like we've lost Ryan Hartz. He's also dropped connection from this race. So that's the 3rd driver that's dropped connection.
Smoke. Who's that from?
I think it's from a lap car. I think it might be Steve Durham.
Man, there's still cars blinking. I'd have to imagine there's something going on. So too many cars have had issues. I mean, it's either an ISP-wide problem that's affecting many areas of the country, or there's something with iRacing going on. It's too many cars for me to think that it's normal.
It is definitely beyond that, especially because we've seen it, for quite a few races this season so far. And in this race in particular, we had 3 different drivers drop due to internet issues.
And it's not like the threshold for bumping has changed. We've still seen a lot of netcode incidents as well, so interesting. Again, I haven't seen this in any other series or leagues, but I don't think we've gotten to field 40-plus strong where you get the numbers to push the server, I think, is kind of where my head's at.
Well, I can't imagine it would be pushing it that much, right?
You wouldn't think. I don't remember this historically being a problem ever. Or at least something that you couldn't pin on an ISP, but I think maybe it's more likely that it's ISP-wide, whether it's Xfinity or Comcast or something. Wouldn't that be ironic?
It would be very ironic.
Not quite as fast as Xfinity to 10G. Where's my check?
Oh, don't even get me started with that.
Oh, Justin Van Sogek loose up on the top, up in the wall.
Not out of the woods yet.
And just highlighting how rough of a race it's been for Central United Motorsports. They've not had the best of run. Steve Durham, we saw, was slowing on the bottom as after he got loose. And then now one of the front runners for the team at the moment was number 88 and going to drop down.
Yeah, and Sogek made an aggressive move a handful of laps ago, making it 3 wide, getting past the 09 of Senesac, who was right behind him when that incident happened. Now Bryce just trying to regather and refocus on that outside lane as the only 2 drivers leading it. Now with Jake Nichols running first and third on the track at the moment, they've pushed past this inside lane of Connor Euroshak and others, as Euroshak's still going to try and get the lead on the bottom.
Oh, the 09 take a walk up the hill in 3 and 4 last time as well. Just drove off in there really hard. I assume we're lifting a lot? Yeah?
Kind of. They have to.
That means that you're driving off into the corner. You can carry more speed than you're capable of, unlike the trucks where you're pretty much flat the whole time. Maybe a little bit towards the end of the tire run.
Starting to see the outside lane build up a run, the biggest lead we see between the different lanes.
And the grouping isn't as tight either, so clearly the comfort level is dropping. And Hunter, we're right past that 25 lap mark. We're on lap 23 of this run right now.
Well, just a matter of time before something goes awry.
Whoa, Senesac.
I almost saw it there with the 09 and Senesac. We're just at that part of the run where the tires are going more. We're starting to lift in the turn. Some of the guys are going to get loose whenever they get back on the throttle a little bit too soon, and starting to see more cars going that.
Elwood, Nichols, Scioli are top 3 all on the outside. There's Justin Munsell, Connor Euroshak, and then Garrett Grant to the number 5. We haven't really mentioned his name a lot tonight. Quietly running up in the top 15 and hasn't really dropped further beyond that. The 66 of Wineland scraped the fence out of 4. Yep.
Oh, yeah, and so he's going to drop down the pack after having a really solid run, being inside the top 10 for the majority of this race.
Euroshak, big correction there mid-corner. And here comes Nichols for the lead.
And they're approaching quite a few lap cars up ahead. Casey Licata is going to be the first of them. He's going to pull to the apron to let them on by. But we've been noticing some of these lap cars up ahead. If you've been noticing some kind of faint smoke clouds in front of them.
Euroshak! Oh my gosh!
Wow, it's crazy out there right now. We're only 26 laps into this run, Finian.
I was going to say, this looks like Indianapolis 2008, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that where they made these guys have to pit because the tires were so bad?
Yeah.
So, starting to look like that. Caution out.
And it's going to be Joey Chapman in the 60.
Yeah, lap car spun on the apron.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned Indy because, the tire fall off is only about 0.7 of a second, which isn't actually all that crazy. It's just the cars handle worse. And when you're going the same speed, Wineland spun out too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how.
Was he actually the trigger for it?
No, it was definitely Chapman, but there was an accident after the yellow came out.
Oh, he just lost it. That lifting shifted the weight forward.
Yeah.
Right here. So he's just going to lift out of it and had to turn a little bit to avoid the 49. See the 43, Matthew Bell get into him as well, and Shane Darian also in it. So just very interesting that the tires just make the car drive way worse, but don't actually get all that much slower. So it just turns into this really risky scenario. All right, if you pit now, you can make it to the end from here. No way the tires last that long, though. So this is not going to be our final pit stop of the night.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think after this, they're going to have one more set of tires. So you're going to have to make that count as they come down onto pit lane.
Gonna check in with Eric Wineland pit stop update, but I was gonna guess that it's not going very good.
No, probably not. Yeah, after running so well too inside the top 10, it all just kind of fell apart the last couple of laps.
And away goes Jake Nichols. He's gonna win the race off pit lane. Scioli to 4th. We'll re-merge everybody back and see where we land. Just over 50 laps to go.
I guess that works out really well, right? Because, you know, we've been going around 20, 25 laps till the tires start to go, so.
Well, pace around to get ready for a restart here in just a moment's time. Race fans, fall is here, and before you know it, so will winter. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from our selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. 4th round of the season for the Florida Estate Builders Area Pro Series. Kyle Heyer, Finney DeCuna, and Hunter Sleppy bringing you the action before an off week. A lot of drama here at Atlanta. It has been slippery after about 25 laps. That's been the dominant story of the night. Other stories, internet connectivity problems for Ryan Hart's. Brad Slaughter Jr. has led to his demise. JT Poole slid up out of the way, got into the wall, and Jeremy Miller, John Furness, Ryan Swan also out with various issues. Started the race with 43 cars, only 30 remain on the lead lap, and about six or seven cars out of the race for now.
Yeah, and I have a sneaking suspicion. Probably going to see some more added to the list before the night's over at the rate we're going at. It definitely does seem to be a night of attrition. And we still have quite a few cars left running on the racetrack. And, I mean, we don't really head to, you know, Dover until 2 weeks' time. That's really, you know, got Miles the Monster eating up the race cars. It seems like Atlanta's doing that tonight. Eating up the tires.
Tires, cars, bumper parts, everything. I mean, it's been a somewhat calm race, but whenever it's gotten chaotic, and it has surely gotten chaotic, 2 wide, 3 wide, and then cars going all over the place, Kyle, as we've got about 50 laps to go when we cross the stripe. So put your teeth in your pocketbook, Grandma. This is going to be a rough one.
I love that. That's good. We won't have about 50 laps to go. We will have exactly 50. Well, okay, maybe we shouldn't say that with the possibility for overtime. Scheduled lap 130, so scheduled 50 to go. Connor Urashak was leading earlier, but slid around. Will restart 4th. Jake Nichols is in command of the field this time, into the restart zone. And there goes the green. And Nichols off and away with Urashak and Elwood coming to blows there, nose to tail.
Yeah, Elwood not a good start at all. Urashak immediately going to leave the number 10 out from behind and try to build up some sort of run on the top lane. Can't quite get it done, so I have to go back to the bottom to still build up some momentum and speed down there.
And then Urashak going to that outside lane, trying to start a little momentum push, try to get something going. As everyone's ducking down to the bottom, the first 3 cars or so, as Scioli going to move up, still with the 73 of Nichols. But Connor Urashak going to try and get that outside lane rolling, trying to get back up front to the lead.
I think it's go time now, and here's why. As Finian pointed out, 25 lap runs, we're likely going to get a yellow around that 25 to go mark. I don't want to have to make up any more positions at 25 to go. I want to be where I want to be with 25 to go because we know we're going to get those aggression-caused yellows at the end. So I want to get myself in position on this run and stay there for that final run. I mean, obviously, everything sounds good on paper, but have to fight it out.
Well, looking a lot more calm near the front of the field, and nearly no outside lane established at the moment. Urashak out there with Mason Klein further out behind. Everyone's very comfortable just sticking on the bottom lane at the moment.
So three-wide action towards the back there. Cameron Hearn right in the middle of that. Going to get calmed down. I would assume so. As soon as Hearn finds a lane, or that car on the outside lane tries to find something in line, it looks like we've gotten just that. And now it's the low-dollar racing cars on the outside. Camden Gubb trying to get back to the front. On board with Mason Kane, trying to push teammate Connor Yershak to the lead.
Yeah, will they be able to make up ground on that outside with just 2 cars? I'm not sure. Nichols and Scioli. Whoa, Scioli, big wiggle on the bottom there. Elwood lifts, so does Munsell. That will allow Kane and Yershak to carry a bit more speed down the backstretch. Oh, Scioli to the high side.
Oh, last second join for him. Will go to the top side. Trying to see if he can make a move around Jake Nichols for the lead, as both of them a little bit sliding around out of turn 4.
As you mentioned, Kyle, it is indeed go time. You want to be where you want to be on the track is where you want to be with 25 laps to go. The 7 of Scioli trying to put his name in the leaderboard, on the top of the leaderboard with 25 to go, but to no avail for now. Nichols retakes the lead. Here comes Elwood on the outside.
Yeah, not waiting around. I think the mobility up top is better. I don't really like either line late in the run, though. It's slippery everywhere. Car in the wall in the background. It's the 4 Hearn. Scraped the fence. Had to jump out of the throttle.
And he will get it going back again in the right direction. But yeah, just a little bit of a tank slapper from the number 4. Kind of really see that we already got some guys getting loose here. It's still track temp 116 degrees, so it's not doing these guys any favors.
Side by side throughout the first 20 positions or so. Alan Elwood with James Scioli pushing on that outside lane. Justin Munsell in the 6, pushing the 73 of Jake Nichols. The top 3 fighting for their first wins of the season. Jake Nichols, hard to imagine he hasn't won a Pro Series race yet, but it could come soon here in Atlanta, although the 10 of Elwood looking to win for the first time since season 3.
2 by 2 all the way back. These tight, orderly lines kind of fill up when everyone feels good. As you get later in the run, it breaks up, it gets bigger runs, the cars start to become a bit more to handle. But as I said on Tuesday, this is when the cars start driving good, and they're going to end up driving bad. Darrell Waltrip, they're driving good. They're driving terrible right now. No, they're driving good. Darlington, 2003?
Yes.
43, Matthew Bell was in the middle of 3 wide. He had to lift out of the throttle to avoid dramas there. Also, we should mention that this morning we got news that Ken Squire had passed away at the age of 88. Of course, Ken had almost unlimited influence on NASCAR over the last couple of decades, and I guess the last couple of decades, from 1979 effectively to now. So lost a great one today. Of course, had an influence on pretty much everybody in the NASCAR broadcasting world, and as someone put it, he said in an interview a couple of decades ago that whatever stock car racing was, Dale Earnhardt was that, and I think whatever sports broadcasting is, Ken Squire was that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Really unfortunate to hear of his passing this morning after dealing with some health issues, but he commentating from the sky.
Yeah, it was a tough one to read this morning for sure, but got notification a couple days ago that it was likely imminent. And I look up to guys like Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds and guys like that, Calvin Fish, and honored to share booth, well, maybe not the booth just yet, but be in the same team as Calvin Fish on the SRO side of things. Working with your heroes, a little 3 wide back here, coming to 40 laps to go. Counter is counting down soon. It's go time. 20 minutes of racing left at Atlanta.
Speaking of heroes, really curious to see if we see anyone trying to make some heroics here in the later goings of the race. Like you mentioned, it's crunch time. We're approaching crunch time at the very least. And you guys are going to start to get more and more desperate for position, especially if you're further back down the pack. But, you know, there's not really a whole lot of places to go. Yes, you could try to work the outside lane like we're seeing Cameron Hearn do, but again, it gets really sketchy there, especially in the later going of the run.
Yeah, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to force your move in the middle if you're on that outside lane. That's really your only way to go, because if you try to go 3 wide up top, it's going to stall your momentum. It's going to stall the person you're trying to pass, their momentum. And you don't want to be on that outside lane. You're 3 wide, you're inches away from the wall, especially at a track like this. Starting to see it in the back there. I believe that's Cameron Hernan, the 4, trying to make it work. You can make it work for a couple of laps, but you can't make it work for 5, 10 laps or so. So you got to always be careful with that. We've already seen the 4 scrape the wall a handful of times. The 43 of Bell almost scraping the wall too, but nonetheless still fighting on that outside lane. Alan Elwood trying to take the lead away once more from Jake Nichols.
Trying to no avail. Hasn't been able to get clear. Has assistance from the 7. And on the bottom, of course, it's Munsell and Jake Nichols. Dustin Munsell, what a driver. He has just been lurking here, Finian. Got my eyes squarely on this 6 if that 7 doesn't get the job done like I expected.
I have my eyes squarely on the 4. He's trying to get around the outside. He's been making some forward progress there, but the 38 of Jordan Martin's been kind of blocking his progress at the moment. I'm sure Cameron is hoping he just gets out the way because he's kind of stopped in his tracks here. He's got the 88 of Justin Anasogak in behind trying to help him out.
They are flirting with disaster on that 3rd lane, trying to get a run going. The first 2 lanes not seeming to work, as we mentioned. Close to that outside wall, the 4 of Hearn is scraping as they're back up front side by side for the lead. Elwood going into turn 3 with the lead. They're going to catch a lap car, and Alan Elwood, it's almost been a full calendar year since his last win. December 15th, 2022, season 3 at Bristol. He started first, finished first, led 65 of 190 to win the race. That was the last time he won in area. It was close in the Truck Series, but it's almost been a full calendar year since he's reached victory lane, trying to do so today in Atlanta.
11 months ago. That'll make you want to run somebody over.
Caution out.
Well, it's Steve Durham.
Steve Durham, yeah.
And that will leave us with 35 laps to go. So maybe about 10 laps earlier than we were expecting, but I would expect pit stops again. If you got the tires, might as well.
Well, and I was kind of thinking about this. This is going to be interesting, right? Because if you come down to pit, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be putting on their last set of tires, if not close to the last set of tires. You have to go 35 laps on that.
Oh, Joey Chapman clip?
Oh.
Yeah. On board here with Joey Chapman in the number 60. Never lifted. Just, I think he thought he would clear him by going to the outside.
Yeah.
He just caught him.
So actually, looking at counting this, so these drivers do have 5 sets of tires. So coming by this time, they'll have 1 more set after this.
And that was a EOL for the number 60 for that contact.
Ooh, and split strategy.
Oh boy. All right. So if you're not where you were supposed to be, you need to get there immediately, because split strategies here, not going to be good with only 30 laps to go. We're going to see a lot of chaos from here on out, I'm sure.
Oh, I 100% think so here. So, yeah, quite a few drivers staying out, and again, I'm a bit surprised because they do have 2. They have 2 sets remaining. They would have taken this one, and I feel like at that point, okay, having 1 extra set with 35 laps, that's doable. That's doable to deal with, and it is a bit surprising that they would elect to do so. But 11 drivers staying out. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And we all know that you go 20 laps into a run on a set of tires, it's going to be mayhem for you. These guys are already almost halfway through to that. Not really sure how this is going to work out, and especially those that did come in and pit. I mean, like you said, those that did come in, Finian, they have another set still in the pits, correct?
Yes, so they do have another set, because there are 5 sets in totals for these drivers. Pretty much most of the field just came down for their 4th set, their 4th set. So they actually wait. Am I mathing right? Hold on.
Well, we can have a look at how many pit stops have been made. Four pit stops.
Because you start with 1 set, so you have 4 to put on. So actually, no, I think this was their last set.
Oh, well, if that was their last set, then
which makes sense why people stayed out. Then that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I was going to say, if you had an additional, if you had 1 more set that you hadn't put on yet,
yeah,
then I would absolutely come to pit lane, right? But I think that's where the split was. Either way, I don't know how much we're going to use tires from here on out, because the chaos level is going to pick up quite a bit. So I would just be careful not to spin them. I don't want to heat cycle them out too bad, because I want to have something to compete with. But 32 laps when we get back green. No, we haven't gotten that long on a green flag run at all tonight, so maybe there's something to the madness of these front 11. I'm actually surprised it's only 11 that stayed out.
I guess because, I don't know, they're willing to risk it. See how far it goes for them. Shane Tarrant, I'm actually looking, he's pit 4 times. And I'm not sure if he's pit for tires on every single time, but if he has, he would be out of tires. In the number 9 machine. Either way, I can tell you one thing that's for sure, it's going to be very exciting to the end of this race.
Oh, you don't say. Well, we got our ad reads out of the way, but I don't need to sell you a ticket to a seat in the grandstands because you will not be using the whole thing, just the edge of it. We get rolling out of turn 4. Elwood.
I might not even need the seat in my room right now.
Well, that one I don't have any control over. Sold out crowd, though, in the Hunter Sleppy household. Green flag back in the air, underway, 32 to go from Atlanta. Eric Wineland immediately out 3 wide of the backdrop there, trying to make up ground on Greg Mitchell in the number 2.
Hey, the tires are fresh. Might as well use them while they're still fresh.
Already, Nichols to the outside lane.
Yeah, this is really where some of these drivers that I think that did pit, they can have a little bit of leverage trying to work that outside lane where some of these guys in the front might be a little bit sketchy. They can't really move that much out of there. The guys that did pit, they can afford to go out there and try to make up some ground.
Indeed, but if they get loose, Finian, it's going to spell disaster for everyone behind. I mean, those that are on the older tires, they have yet to... Oh, this is going to be...
Ben Pierce.
This is going to be bad, Kyle.
Big time sideways. 88 of Anasokak is also struggling with grip there through the middle of 1 and 2. I don't love giving up all that track position, though. That's another reason why I might have considered staying out. So I don't want to be behind everybody when this inevitable slide, the 73 up the hill in turn 4. The 38 bounced off a cane. Using the whole track.
Man, we paid for the whole track and used the whole track. Nichols trying to jump out there with Chris Rabel, didn't plan out
66,
that way.
a huge crash, a catastrophic incident in turn 2 up into the catch fence, and Eric Wineland absolutely took flight, and that car is reduced to scrap. Holy cow.
Yeah, massive hit for Wineland, who took the brunt of that. In this caution, that car is destroyed. Taking a look at your center market replay, and whoa, man.
That goes off into 1, and does he get tagged or does he just get loose? 38 is going to turn down. 66 just the slightest bit up. And then into the wall, and then off the roof. I mean, that's like Ryan Newman at Talladega 2009.
Oh yeah, then back into the catch fence, and
man, that's probably one of the most violent ovals wrecks I've seen in years. Holy cow.
Yeah, that car is destroyed.
Well, if your teeth's not in your pocketbook, you might have lost it.
Yeah, but I think it's more than teeth. This one's a full body CAT scan after that one. Holy cow. I'll bet you the onboards from David Weishart and who was he on top of there? 38?
Yeah.
Jordan Martin? Or no, yeah.
Start with the 33 of Weishart. We're going to go on board. I don't think the roof camera made it out of this one.
Oh, that's a code brown moment I ever saw. Wow, just seeing a car launch airborne at you.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
And then just behind, the violence of that wreck cannot be overstated. And let's ride on board with Jordan Martin. He also had a similar situation here. He's the driver to the outside. And right there.
Got a great look at the underside of the 66 car.
Saw the underbelly. Got the sounds. And then the 88 of Justin Anasogak. He saw all this out the... Wow. Holy, that is the best.
See all the parts just flying up with the car towards him.
Yeah. Just parts everywhere. The 33, that car would have gone through the windshield with how quickly it came to, to stop. Man, that was violent. All that aside, nobody pit that didn't pit prior.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of surprised with. I thought they would have wanted to come down pit road because now it's perfect time, but I guess maybe they're figuring there's not enough time left in the clock and they feel like there's going to be cautions from here on out, which not a terrible strategy.
Or we go 10, 15 laps, get another yellow, and then you're going to want to pick up your tires then and drive through everyone that doesn't have tires. Well, either way, you're up.
I was going to say, wait until we cross that 20 to go threshold, and then there'll be the green light to come down in and pit, because by the end of it, if we do have a green-white checker, tires are going to be shot anyways.
But then the issue is then a lot of drivers are going to have their tires shot, and then there might not be enough green flag laps to make up that time.
That was an ugly wreck for the 66 of Wineland.
All I know is this is a horrible race to be a crew chief for. Just kind of scratching your head.
Belongs in Dale Jr.'s car graveyard, that one.
Adding to the list of retirements for tonight.
Yeah. So Elwood, Munsell, your front row. Man, Justin Munsell, as I've said, so close so many times. Front row restart with 26 laps to go. That heart rate's probably climbing.
Oh, it definitely is, especially knowing that he has a really good shot here. He can just make it to the end. And we'll see if we do make it to the end of this. Don't have another caution. I have a feeling we might.
Green flag back in the air at Atlanta. Alan Elwood fires off and away. Leaves Justin Munsell and Garrett Grant in the dust. Always wary of getting too good of a restart, though, because you'll get run down pretty quick on the backstretch.
Yeah, you end up kind of like a sitting duck, so we'll see how this plays out as they got a huge run, the 60 and the 37 off of turn 2 onto the back of Elwood.
Grant going to give that push to Elwood as Munsell going to try and get that outside lane rolling. Richard Thomas in the 37. And behind them, oh boy, I mean, there's Euroshack in the back trying to make it 3 wide. He's got places to go. People can see less than 20 to go, Kyle.
Mason Kane's going to jump up there with him, I think. Yes, he will. That third lane. Oh, big slide. Oh. Elwood up the hill into the 31. Wiggle
the
wobble.
31 Mason Kane bobbling. Contact in the background. And around they go.
On the apron is most of the wreck.
And we are green.
We'll check back in. We bookmarked it for later. 3 wide. The 4 is on the high side. Cameron Hearn riding it like a monorail up there.
Well, if he didn't get the caution on the back straight, we might have a chance of getting it here in 1 and 2. Very racy here.
It split the field up huge, Hunter. There's not that many cars in this front pack. That will always kick up the aggression.
Indeed, there's still those that did pit, though, with newer tires, the 73 and the 7, all up on that outside lane with Cameron Hearn trying to make it work.
Munsell in the middle, contact with the 5. Garrett Grant will save it.
Shane Terrian, though.
Terrian won't. Oh, no, he will.
Whew, boy.
Oh, man, it's going still sideways. He saves it. Oh, boy.
Split up the front field even more.
I was going to say, well, we have a decent chance of making it green till the end now. The field split up like this. Again, the handling is still the big question mark.
Yeah, really big split. But I think there's still a lot of chaos. How is Cameron Hearn leading this race? Where did he come from?
He took really good advantage of the whole amount of chaos and just kind of drove his car up to the front.
Trying to hold on to that lead for the next 10 laps or so. Still fighting on that outside lane. You got Jake Nichols and James Skyley, 2 great competitors on the outside. And then on the inside, still on older tires, got Alan Elwood and Justin Munsell trying to hold their ground on the bottom.
Who's he giving it up to in 10 laps? He got 22 to go. 10 at Elwood on the bottom again. Big push from the 6. Look at them drifting up the hill. They do not have the tires to stick to that red line. Hearn's on fresher tires, so is Nichols, so is Scioli. That 7 and the 73 are probably the biggest threat of this front pack.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that the drivers on the older tires are kind of stuck on the bottom at the moment. And all drivers on the outside have fresher rubber.
Ooh, Elwood and Munsell real tight.
And speaking of Munsell, I was taking a look at his stats. Has not won in the Pro Series yet. He's finished a second place 3 times for the number 6. Not been a victory lane in this car. I'm trying to see if he can change that tonight, but again, he has the tire disadvantage, and with the way this field's gotten split up, unless there's a caution, it's going to be kind of hard for this 6 to come back.
Danny Weir, the third car on the inside line, the bright white 49. Haven't talked too much about him. He's in position for a good finish. Again, got a podium finish to start the season at Daytona. Looking to kick it off with another top 10 in 4 races.
The front 3 cars in that, front 4 cars in that outside lane are all on fresh tires. So not only do they have the advantage of the faster line, maybe not the shortest one, they also have the easiest one to not have to lift, as the drivers on the bottom will have to lift off the throttle just to not run up the hill on the tire wear that they've got. Watch Munsell and the 10. Watch the 10 slip up the hill.
Ooh. And Cameron has to be a little bit careful himself. He can't pinch too hard on the number 10, as he's going to be driving on worn out tires. He has to give him at least some sort of room, otherwise he risks getting making contact mid-corner.
Their dream scenario, get a yellow right now, because they'll pit, have tires, and everyone else is trapped. Reverse scenario of what's going on right now, basically. But too much later, it's going to be not enough time to drive back through them. Big slide from the 37. Still out of control out of 4. There they go. Locks it down into Anasoga. Gets clobbered.
Oh my gosh.
And still green. There's the yellow. 17 laps to go. And collectively, Alan Elwood, Justin Munsell just breathed a sigh of relief, probably. But the 37 is junk. Wreck was a long time.
He tried his best to save it.
Just fighting this thing. Oh man. He went down with the ship on that one. And Sogak didn't have a lot of time.
He had a chance to pick right or left, and unfortunately picked the wrong answer in that situation. It's a split-second decision.
Pretty gnarly impact here.
Oh.
Will likely end the night for both those cars. So, the car's still going real fast right now. The field's catching back up because they were also broken up prior to that yellow. That will bring the whole field back together. Do you take track position? Do you take the tires? Elwood peels off. Munsell peels off. They have to take the tires, take the advantage, but now they're going to be driving through the field on offense. Puts them in a dangerous spot as far as track position goes. They're going to give it all up, but they're going to have the advantage here. And it's an advantage that they can't lose in the closing laps of this race.
Yeah, so we'll see if patience has paid off for all these drivers that are coming out of pit row now to get their final pit stop out of the way. Everyone that's staying out basically has no tires left to put on their cars, so they're staying, toughing it out there. Actually, except for Garrett Grant, who has only made 3 stops according to my timing. So, bit surprised he didn't come on down.
Grant. How many stops has he made?
I have 3 for him.
I'm just trying to see if that was the case. No, you're right.
Place.
3 stops, yep.
Yeah, and he's been out there on 37 lap old tires. He's actually on the oldest tires of the field.
Oh, 37 laps.
So, a bit concerned for there. I mean, if you're going to come down to get tires, you might as well now. Especially the 37 laps old.
Yeah, again, if you get another yellow from here on out, the last runs, you're not going to have enough time to use the tires. This is probably the shortest run that I would even consider coming to pit lane. Because in 12, 13 laps, you're going to have time to move forward. Anything less than 10, Hunter, you got to take the track position.
Well, considering how old his tires are, I mean, you got to just be concerned about have enough tires to just make it to the end of the race in general, Hunter.
Yeah, this one scratches my head, but we'll have to see how this plays out in the end for Garrett Grant. I would assume that he believes that this race is just going to be a caution fest, where 2 laps caution, 2 laps caution, 2 laps caution, and green white checker, and who knows what could happen in the green white checker. But interesting call here from Garrett Grant. We'll see if it plays into his advantage.
Now we're going to get a restart with 13 to go. Nice advantage of pretty quick yellows here at Atlanta. 7 cautions for 20 laps, just 1 more than last year with 13 to go. 10 more lead changes than last season already.
No, I'm not too surprised with the chaos that we had with having all those lead changes.
30 points.
And I have a feeling might add another caution before the night's over.
Yeah, Kyle might have gone a little too ahead in the script there with 8 cautions. We're still currently at 7. Don't want to leak too much info yet, but look at that car on the second car on the outside lane, Mason Kane. He was 3 1,000ths, Kyle, from winning on Tuesday night. Just got beat by a fraction by Brad Slaughter in the 8, and he still got that on his mind. It's a bitter taste in his mouth. Wants to win at his home track. He's in a great position, although he's got Cameron Hearn on the bottom, another Georgia native trying to do good for his hometown and his home track. But you have the 73 at Jake Nichols on the outside, still looking for that first win in the Pro Series.
Yeah, I always joke that maybe one day I'll hit the fast forward button and accidentally skip to the end of the race. It's all just a replay. Not live sports. James Scioli starts on the inside of row 2. He's looking for his 3rd win on the season in race number 4. The only other race won by Thomas in the 37. Green flag, 13 laps to go at Atlanta.
And keep in mind, too, everyone that pit started 13th on back, so that's the kind of hurdle that they have to climb over to get to the front of the field here with this few laps remaining. With a great start for Cameron Hearn off into turns 1 and 2. And here come the drivers up on the top. Justin Munsell already up top 3 wide.
And Elwood's going to chase him up there, Hunter, as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, aggressive move from the 10 of Elwood, and you got to go because we're not at the part of the race where you got to preserve the tires. You got to use every bit of that. And Elwood's got the freshest out of those in the field, leading that 3rd lane, coming close to 10 to go as Jake Nichols continues to lead.
They're going to look like superheroes here on the outside, but the 15 of Alex Bell's jumped up there on older tires. That's going to stunt their run. They've got nowhere to go now.
Well, a little bit loose there, trying to find a way to get past the 15, but the 15 is going to have to get pushed to the front no matter what. Cameron Hearn a little bit loose up in front, trying to defend from Jake Nichols.
Oh, they were almost looking 4 wide there. The 10 of Elwood's trying to get the 15 of Bell out of the way. He's going to go to the middle. Munsell's checking up behind. It's still Jake Nichols leading Hearn in the middle, and then Alex Bell all alone on the outside lane. Alan Elwood still trying to fight his way through.
Yeah, Munsell got left off the train there, but Elwood's got to go. Doesn't have time to sit behind a car with 20-lap-old tires. That's not going to go anywhere. Elwood back to the outside, but he doesn't have his teammate with, or the car that he was helping him, the number 6 with him. Munsell's a long ways back, 10 to go.
Yeah, still stuck in traffic, although now he's ducking to the inside to get past the 15. Has a chance to get back to the outside and help the 10 out again. But again, they need to start going now while the tires are still good. Use that advantage up as much as possible. Here goes the 6 up in turns 1 and 2 to the top side.
Front 2 are still the 2 that they got to beat. They're trying to break away from everyone else as we're on board with Munsell trying to navigate his way back inside the top 5, but up front, it's still Jake Nichols and James Scioli, 2 of the best in the area today. And then Mason Kane, the 3rd car, blinking on that outside lane, trying to get a run going with Cameron Hearn.
Cameron Hearn tried to split him 3 wide. All that dodging around is going to let that upper groove gain some momentum. The 43 wants up there as well, but 19-lap-old tires. That's not, you can't, even with the pressure from behind, some cars with fresher tires, you're just not going to have the grip up there to go fast. And the 10 has recognized that anybody in their way is going to slow him up, so he jumps immediately to the middle to try to push that lane forward.
I think what he might try to do is try to see if he can go in the middle, try to go to the middle of Greg Mitchell there in 3 and 4, but I think that might be his best bet instead of going way to the outside. There doesn't seem to be enough speed there, and just puts himself too much at a risk.
Oh, 49!
Oh, there we go!
Danny Ware on the bottom of the racetrack. The 60's going to spin with him. Who's that spinning ahead of him?
I don't know.
See it.
Oh, he's going to spin and caution. Yep.
And that was probably something that Elwood and Well, maybe they didn't want to see it because it's going to click off laps they could have used, but there was just too much traffic in the way for them to go anywhere. That's why I talked about it, even the top of the show. It's not Daytona, not Talladega. You don't have room. Here's a look. 49. Oh, there was help from the 9. Sent him around. 3 drivers tried to spin. But Ware just kind of finished it off. Now what? Stay out. Stay out.
I mean, there's really no point in pitting. I think everyone that is able to pit, they have pit.
Yeah, you'd be a madman if you're up front and you decide, no, I'm gonna go pit. I'm gonna make it fun for myself.
I think the 10, and I could just feel the frustration with Alan Elwood and Munsell. Every time they went to the top, someone jumped up. No, you can't do that. Just like you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, for Alan Elwood, I would say I think the fresher tires, they help on one thing, and that's for the restarts, because the guys on fresh tires got a really good jump the first lap or two, and then obviously they stalled out up on top with the slower traffic getting in their way.
Yeah, just have to. I mean, the drivers that jumped to the outside on older tires were just hoping that the new tires would push them forward, but that did not work. When Bell tried it, with both Bells, Alex and Matthew tried that. So Elwood only ended up 7th, and Justin Munsell got the worst end of the stick. He got trapped behind a couple other cars. And they're out of time now. I mean, your tires might help you a bit, but you just got to be playing aggressive from here on out and get some lucky breaks. With traffic.
Be aggressive without going around.
Aggressive goes around.
It's hard to master the two, being aggressive and not going around.
That is true.
I will give Rick Allen credit that he has stopped saying, for the most part, around goes the car number. Around goes the 18. Around goes the 5.
I mean, yes, but he still says really dumb things, like his championship call at Phoenix.
Oh. What did he say?
Kyle Larson in the water.
He has climbed to the. What did he say? He said climb to the pinnacle of all things.
No, it was something. Even that makes more sense of what he actually said. Hang on. Well, I'm gonna try to find it on YouTube just to listen to it again.
Anyway, I wanted to point out Travis Beckner. You guys remember he was involved in a wreck really early on, took the rear end off the car? He has rallied from 5 minutes of damage back into 10th place. Fell as low as 42nd. Here he is back in the top 10 with less than 5 laps to go.
What a climb back forward for him. And I guess if it's at any point to be back near the front, now's the best time.
Yeah, if we get another yellow, it's immediately going to go to green, white, checkered. So we can only have up to, what was it?
I crested the mountain of all winds.
Oh, yeah. Crested the mountain of all winds. What does that mean?
Weird flex, but okay. Also, back to why he doesn't say, and around goes. Why he doesn't say that so much is because you got Dale Jr. in the booth going, we got a car spinning.
We got a car spinning. I love Dale,
or
dude.
Just be like,
I mean, hot take, Dale Jr.'s voice.
Big red to turn 3.
Hot take.
Big red to turn 3 is just one call.
Dale Jr.'s excited voice is arguably pretty terrible, but I love Dale Jr. so much that I am willing to listen to it because I love his enthusiasm, and we could use more of that.
There's genuine passion behind that.
Yeah.
So
we got a caution. Slide job. Slide job. I just freaked my cat out.
So these guys have been doing a slide job all night long. Let's see how this finishes out here.
4 laps to go at Atlanta for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Jake Nichols, Mason Kane, green flag back in the air.
Great jump for the guys on the outside, which we haven't really seen go. Most people have been picking the inside lane, but the 73 and the 7 trying to get something going there. Mason Kane, Cameron Hearn trying to get something going on the bottom. The 73 leaves the top and joins the bottom lane.
Yeah, the Georgia boys on the bottom, Kane and Hearn trying to get things going. Whoa, look at the move from Alan Elwood to the outside. Now going to be behind the 7 of Scioli heading into turn 3.
Look at the 4, Cameron Hearn peek into the outside. He might have some assistance from the number 7. It's coming to 3 laps to go. Time is running out. Just 2 laps until we get that white flag. Here we go.
Big run up on top. The 4 trying to get a run on the top lane. The 7 and the 10 with the freshest tires of all the guys near the front in behind him.
I'm looking at that 31 of Mason Kane. If it's the white flag, he's going to send it 3 wide on Jake Nichols. There's no way he doesn't go down without a fight. But on the outside, it's still the 4 of Cameron Hearn trying to win it for his home track. James Skyley there, as well as Alan Elwood, trying to find a way around everybody. Coming to 2 to go.
2 laps to go, just a mile and a half until we're home free under green. The 10 splits the middle. He's going for it here into turn 1.
Oh, he's going to make contact with the 7. They rub fenders, and it's going to cost him a bit of speed, but Alan Elwood will get the spot. That was crucial, but they lost a lot of momentum on that top lane.
And the focus on the 10 of Elwood still has plenty of positions to go, but Jake Nichols leading the way in turn 3 with Cameron Hearn on the outside. He's going to slide up a little bit. Mason Kane behind the 73. Coming off turn 4, white flag one more time in Atlanta.
Last lap in Atlanta. We will finish this race under green. Jake Nichols, Cameron Hearn, they're side by side. Look at Beckner to the top side. No help. The 6 of Munsell is back in the top 5 now as they rumble through turn 2. The 73 slips on the bottom. The 10's going to give Hearn a big shove down the back straightaway. It's dead even 2 by 2. On Tuesday, it was 0.03 of a second that separated the winner from the loser. Mason Kane second in line there. Out of turn 4, coming back to the checkers. They're 3 wide for 5th. Out of turn 4, Nichols, Hearn, side by side. Nichols gets it by a nose.
And how about that? And as they come across the line, it looks like it's going to be 6,000, 7,000 of a second there at the line.
Jake Nichols wins at Atlanta by 0.07 of a second. The second closest margin of the season. And there's Alan Elwood, came up just a bit short, 4th place. Justin Munsell fought back for 6th. There's Mason Kane issuing a congratulations. Kane lost this one by 62 thousandths. And Jake Nichols back in victory lane, the first time this season, and the first time ever, Hunter, if I recall correctly, in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series.
Indeed, he has not made a start in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series up until this season. 4th race in and got the first win, and by, like you mentioned, 7/1000th of a second. Oh boy, had to rely on the 31 of Mason Kane giving him the push because Cameron Hearn was getting the bump from Alan Elwood. And nonetheless, the 73 of Jake Nichols is victorious before we head into our Thanksgiving break.
Nichols will propel himself to the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series playoffs. I think we all knew that was coming. It was just a matter of time. And let's go back before we look at the results and just look at the finish once more. As they came into, this is going on to the back straightaway here. Pretty much dead even here, Finney, in between the 4 and the 73. It just came down to who pushed who and when and how hard.
Yeah, really. I mean, they're both top 4, just pushing really hard. Because at this point, you are just completely pushing as hard as possible. And, you know, having to overcome that outside lane, that 10 just trying to get to the back of the 4 as much as possible, but just wasn't quite enough there at the end. You're going to see the 4 give a bit of a hip check to the 73, trying to slow him down, but again, wasn't quite enough.
Here's a look at
I'm not sure. Not sure if the 4, if he doesn't go down low to the 73, if he keeps his line, he might have a shot, kind of similar to what we saw a season ago, where the car on the outside lane, if they kept it straight and avoided contact on the bottom, he might have had a better chance at reaching victory lane. But yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, look how close that is.
That's awesome. I'm trying to get it even closer here. There's your margin of victory, 7/1000
You can go. There's a camera looking at the start finish line.
Oh, there sure is. I didn't notice this on Tuesday. This would have been helpful.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't. Yeah, there you go. I specifically made it because I knew this would happen.
Well, let's have another look at it here as they come to the stripe. This was your margin of victory, 7/1000 of a second. Where they get there.
Anyway.
Here they come. And boom. And boom. There we are. Motion blur messing it up for me. But that's a little bit more than the 3,000 that we saw. That's about 8 or 9 inches as opposed to the 2 or 3 we saw on Tuesday. What a battle that was, though. Let's have a look at our race results. Nichols is Is he still burning it down? Yeah, he is. Well, there's a look at it. He's in the pit lane doing a burnout. Jake Nichols, Cameron Hearn, Mason Kane, Alan Elwood, 4 drivers within a tenth of a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, incredibly so. And congrats on these drivers for just having a hard-fought battle. They didn't wreck at all the last lap. Very hard-fought battles throughout the field up. I think they went the engine. Burning it down, the tires and the engine. Mason Kane in third, Elwood, Mitchell, Munsell, Beckner. Travis Beckner recovering after everything he's been through. A solid 7th place finish for him. Garrett Grant, Tom Bourne, Shane Carrion rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, good finish for Green, and they've stayed out on those older tires. Question whether it would help him or not. Nonetheless, still a good finish for him. Alex Bell trying to make something work there towards the end. Just misses the top 10 by a position. Robertson, Bell, Stafford, Danny Ware spun, but somehow managed to finish 15th after all that. Senesac, Pierce Lakatos, Nico Garcia, and Chris Rabel inside the top 20.
And looking down the rest of the order, James Scioli, 21st. That's not a finish he was looking forward to after being in the top 5 there in the closing moments. Just didn't play the chess game quite right. And then here's the list of drivers that just had a bad day. Alex Weaver is one of them, Brandon Bowie, Sean Peachin, Richard Thomas, and then a whole list of cars that took some big impacts tonight. David Weishart, Eric Wineland got together in a big, big way. Shane Abbey, Ryan Hartz, Brad Slaughter Jr. all out with various issues. Jeremy Miller, John Furness, Ryan Swan out early, and then Jeffrey Wilson, Brody Falliker, Adrian Roderick not able to pick up any points or start tonight. Let's talk to Mason Kane. He came up 3 thousandths short on Tuesday night, and on Thursday night, 62 thousandths short. Very, very, very close between yourself and Hearn and Nichols. It was just going to be pushing out of 4. You had to pick a lane, had to go with it. Take us through that last stint, that last run to the checkers. You're getting pretty good at running up front here at Atlanta.
Well, when you only live about 30 minutes of it, you better get used to it. But no, it was fun. I knew I had a chance, but I told Cameron about whatever restart that was. I was like, I'm sticking with you no matter what. But the last restart, we kind of got shaped up different, which is fine. But yeah, I've seen a lot of family members do well at this track in real life, and then I mean, it's weird to come here and run so well. But it's been fun. This package, I could say I don't like it, but it's treated me well so far this week. But yeah, come up short a little bit again. So,
well, knocking on the door. Eventually it'll open. Mason Kane, 3rd place tonight in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Congrats in the Huckett Films. Camaro, we'll see you next time,
sir.
2 weeks.
I'll see y'all.
And 2nd place tonight. And almost, all night we were watching some battles up front, and then things got chaotic, and then there's Cameron Hearn leading the race. Mr. Where did he come from tonight? What the heck? 2nd place by 7 thousandths of a second. Lost this one by about the length of a ruler, Cameron. That was so close there at the end, and just didn't quite get the push at the right time out of 4. But hard-fought race in the middle of the pack most of the night, and then, 2nd place. Can't be too mad about that one.
Yeah, it was, I think I hit Brad going 120 mile an hour on the backstretch, and had about 5 minutes of damage and got some of it fixed, and it actually tightened up the car. I was kind of slow on the straightaways a little bit, but really helped the balance of the car out, and missed some of the big ones. Alan, old teammate of mine, really helped me out there at the end, stayed with me. I thought I had it. I came off 4. I'm like, all week the high sides prevailed. I'm in a good spot, and just came up a little short, but I think it was the damage. I really didn't have as much power as I felt like I had at the beginning of the race. But all in all, from being, I think, 40th at one point in the race to coming home second, have a chance for the win is awesome. These wins in these leagues or having a chance for the win is hard to come by. So just being up there and contending in the last 10, 15 laps was a blast.
Well, as we look forward to the rest of the schedule, we got a week off. Of course, we had a Dover and then the Charlotte Roval coming up next. So of the next challenges on the list, is there one of those tracks you think you can get a win at and propel yourself to the playoffs?
Definitely not the road course. Everything else, I feel like I have a small chance. I just cannot figure out how to keep the tires underneath me at the road course. But I got some Fazeeka Motorsport teammates that are bad fast at road courses, so I'll probably do some practice with them and maybe try to get a top 5, top 10 out of it.
Cameron Hearn, 2nd place tonight, fastest of the Blue Ovals, and just off the win by 7 thousandths. Cameron, thanks for talking. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Dover.
I appreciate it. You guys have a good holiday. And I also want to thank NAI, Delia Brom, Fame Construction, and Flash Picks for sponsoring us. We're going to get a W this season. It's coming. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. And, well, we got used to talking to him over on the Cup Series side, and now he'll pick up his first win in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and by the slimmest of margins, as I said to Cameron, about the length of a ruler, 7/1000ths of a second there, Jake. Holy cow, that was intense. Tonight you led 28 laps, which isn't dominant by any stretch, but you were up there battling all night long with the 7 of Scioli, with the 31 of Mason Kane. Alan Elwood was there at the end. Justin Munsell was up there at the end, just throwing everything you had in the kitchen sink at it, getting a good push out of 4, and you win it by a nose. That's got to feel good, and it'll propel you to the playoffs.
Oh, especially after Monday, I pretty much was worse there because hitting head on, go worst to first essentially. So we'll take that. I kind of like this track in terms of the feel, but at the same time, it's still super speedway. It's a little toned down, but which isn't really my thing. But we did get loose. I wish we went a little longer on the runs. We kind of got stopped the moment we'd get a little free. But either way, the car was awesome. The Matco Tools Toyota Supra, powered by 609 Motorsports and David Weishart Racing, and same with 73 Creative. It was a fun to drive car. It was it had its moments. We kind of did some things, some techniques to get a little tighter, to not really struggle too hard long run. But we found ourselves in a great spot. I wish I could have got James with me on the bottom. I knew the run before, when we had the tire advantage on guys like Elwood and company, that we couldn't really clear them, even though we had an advantage. So my main thought process was just keep the bottom, and that's it. I felt like I could maybe lift at certain points, keep Mason from getting clear, to just keep that help constantly behind me, and it worked, and it got us a win. I kind of shoved out a little bit there just to kind of stall out Cameron's run. I don't know how the finish would have been different if I didn't do that. It may have been a closer win for me, or it may have been a win for him. Who knows? But I just tried to do everything I could with what I had there out of 4, and thanks to Mason for a great push. I know he didn't really have any other choice, but either way, he gave me some great pushes there on the last lap, especially in 3 and 4 leading to the dub there.
Well, it was a super fun race to watch, Jake, and congratulations on that. We do have a couple interesting races upcoming on the schedule. A week off, then we head to Dover, the Monster Mile, and then we head to the Roval. Then we go to Charlotte, but then Darlington. So 3 of the next 4 races are really technical racetracks. Do you think you can rack up a couple more wins there before we head to Richmond, Homestead, IRP, and Talladega to finish off the regular season?
I'm hoping so. I think I'm pretty good at Dover. I'm hit or miss in terms of win. I mean, Cup's hard to judge because it kind of is most of the time dirty air fest. So if you get the lead and you're just fast enough, you can hang on. But I think we do have a win in season 2 at Dover. So hopefully we can bring that pace in both series there. I don't know how. I'm still kind of getting used to this car around tracks, especially something like that where we had to lift and maybe brake. It'll probably take some time to adjust, but I think we'll be up front most of the time there. And I love Darlington. That's probably my top 3, if not my favorite track to go to. So I'm looking forward to that one, and probably a P2 to. I'm guessing a P2 to Scioli over there at the Roval. We'll try to beat him and show him up once, but he's got an amazing skill there at road courses. So it's hard to hold him off and hard to make moves on him, really make him make a mistake. But either way, it should be fun, especially being teammates with him. It will hurt a little less, in this series, finishing second to him, because either way, that's a 1-2 for the team, and we would love that at the end of the day. So looking forward to it.
Well, Jake Nichols in the 609, number 73 Supra, winners at Atlanta. Congratulations, Jake. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you then.
Well, Finian, wrapping things up here from Atlanta. That was a fun race. And final stats here on the night. 8 yellows, so 2 more than last season. But 46 lead changes. Super competitive, super fun to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw equal blows between most of the drivers all night long, a whole lot of hard racing in between that as well. And even despite the fact that these guys were struggling with the tire wear and it being slick out there, but they still managed to put on a great show, and they still fought hard to the very end.
Indeed, what a finish we had. Thought we weren't going to see it there. Felt like we were going to wreck coming to the white flag, but then get a green white checker and then wreck again. But nonetheless, still a great finish in front of the virtual racing crowd. And again, a Georgia native coming home short by a few thousandths of a second. Tuesday night it was Mason Kane. Tonight it was Cameron Hearn to Jake Nichols. And now we're heading into the off week. A very pleasant and much needed off week for some of us here. But looking forward to being back here 2 weeks from now at Dover.
An off week and then to the Monster Mile. If you didn't think this one tore up enough cars, you wait till you get to the self-cleaning racetrack in Dover, Delaware. That's what's up next. Race 5 of the area Florida State Builders Pro Series season, followed by our one and only road race of the season at the Charlotte Roval. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time here on SimTV. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Finian DeCuna. Next race, only race next week, is the DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. We'll see you there from Oran Park.